Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the MrWarrenHayes Show. In fact, special Saturday show. What does that mean when I do shows on Saturdays? Usually means it's a pay-per-view weekend. There's something going on, a big event, something that with WWE presenting something on a Sunday night that in some part of time and space they would have charged you $60 for, but now you can watch on the award-winning WWE network. I'm talking about a pay-per-view, and I'm talking about the greatest pay-per-view of the year, the one that has mounds and mounds of anticipation, the one that we're chomping at the bit to watch, Elimination Chamber. And this is not hyperbole at all. I am going to be watching it, as I'm pretty sure my guest this morning is going to be watching with it, because I like to do the predictions show with someone, and I'm joined once again by my pal Tony from Get the Tables, from the Get the Tables podcast. Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I mean, you hyped that show up better than the WWE did. My goodness, that was great.
I mean, we are going to do, you and I this morning, we're going to get people excited about it in ways, the unfathomable ways.
We're going to do our best.
Yeah, we definitely are, or at least we're going to be brutally honest with us with the show. But Tony's been on the show before doing predictions with me. He's a great guy. I didn't know if you guys are aware of Get the Tables, but you definitely should. But hey, it's not my... I think Tony can sell his shit better than I can. Tony, tell the people what Get the Tables is all about.
We're just your simple podcast. We do recap shows on Wednesday night of AEW Dynamite. We do occasionally Tuesday night Impact watch parties. We watch Impact and kind of just talk about it while the show's going on. And then Saturday night is the big old wrestling news, rumors, and then we go over SmackDown and NXT as well. So yeah, we're just a simple podcast. We'd love for anybody who hasn't checked us out to join us over on Twitch. And we really appreciate MrWarrenHayes for having us on, getting us a little bit more exposure to people who haven't checked us out before.
Well, I'm just happy. I'm happy you're here, Tony, because I really do like talking wrestling with you. You're a good guy. You work, and this is the thing. He's going around saying, "Oh, we're just a simple podcast." They're not. They really are not. Did you hear all the content he puts out in a week? He works hard, and the one thing that I wish I could do more is join them on their more often on the Impact watch-alongs, because those are a lot of fun. And
yes.
and there's commentary. It's not just sitting around restreaming a stream. Like, they actually get involved and they talk. They give commentary, talk about history. It's a fun time. Like, it's honestly, it's more fun watching Impact on the Get the Tables stream than it is on the Impact stream, because you know what, less Melissa Santos.
Yeah, that is very true there. And we have been told that, the Impact watch parties are our best shows that we do, because
Sure.
We're brutally honest. We don't just play the audio. We talk over it, of course, and we don't just stick to Impact. During the commercial breaks, we'll talk about other things as well. But very, very good point with Les Melissa Santos. That's always the best thing about our Impact watch parties. That is for sure.
If it was still Don Callis doing the little things, I would have said less Don Callis. It would have come across better. Melissa's okay. Don't get me wrong. It just gets a little cringe sometimes.
Yes, absolutely.
Whereas Don Callis is just like creepy uncle popping up on a TikTok, and you're like, "What are you doing, Uncle Don? Get off of that. It's for 16-year-olds. What are you doing?" So yeah, well, anyway, thank you again, Tony, for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Just like I appreciate every one of you watching right now on youtube.com/MrWarrenHayes. If you're watching right now, give the video a thumbs up. That always helps. I mean, it's your prerogative. You can do the thumbs down if you want, but one thumbs down means one tear from Tony, and you don't want him to cry.
Yeah, you don't want that. That's not a good scene.
No, it's not. But do consider giving the video a thumbs up, and maybe you're listening to this on your favorite podcast application, because of course the MrWarrenHayes Show is also available on all podcast platforms. Well, you can give us a review, a like, a subscription, whatever you can do to show some love there on your podcast app. Well, just go ahead and do it, and those things really do help out. You can also support the Mr. Warren Hayes Show on patreon.com/MrWarrenHayes, or buy a t-shirt, won't you?
Do it, everyone. Do it.
tinyurl.com/WarrenShop. But now we are going to talk shop, but not Warren Shop, wrestling shop, WWE Elimination Chamber. Before we actually get into the show in and about itself, as you know, Tony, we always like to talk about how we got to this point, and there's been nothing to this right now. We had Super Showdown 2 Thursdays ago, and that's what they were building towards. This is the definition of a throwaway show, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of matches that we just saw. For example, the Profits and Rollins and Murphy. This is our third time seeing this match in 2 weeks. So it's just kind of, they're just putting this pay-per-view together just to get to WrestleMania, which is a shame. This used to be one of the pay-per-views a lot of people were excited to seeing the Chamber being involved, and now it's kind of become basically just a throwaway pay-per-view, like you said.
And it's crazy when you think about it. When you think about 2019, where we were at this spot last year, when we came out of Elimination Chamber, we were entirely in the midst of Kofi Mania. And we got a great Elimination Chamber. We had a great women's Elimination Chamber as well. It was a good card last year and really did serve to hype WrestleMania good and proper. This year, I'm really not feeling it, and I put a lot of the blame on Super Showdown because they just invested so much in that, and then it's like, oh, we have 13 days to hype the last pay-per-view leading into WrestleMania, and I mean it's so lackluster, man. I don't know what it.
And it doesn't help too when they put matches together. Like, for example, the women's match where they're basically starting a feud with Becky and Shayna, and then you're expecting to think Shayna's not going to win the Chamber. It's just, I don't like when they do that kind of stuff. It just defeats the purpose.
We'll get into that. However, we could argue, though, that the only match that has had some proper build, and if you're listening and not watching right now, I put proper between air quotes. What is the Women's Elimination Chamber, right? They've been doing this for a few weeks, but that's because there's no women that go to Saudi Arabia outside of one match,
Right.
So they had to do something there. So it was interesting. The build is there. They got Shayna up. Asuka's been doing fantastic work. I don't want to get too much into the match because we can talk about it a little later, but it's the only match that really had any proper build-up that we might remotely care about.
Yeah, right. We had the contract signing, and it seems like not only with Asuka and Shayna, they're starting to utilize other women as well. It to a T. You got Liv Morgan getting involved now, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, Natalia's put in there, of course, but at least they're trying to kind of get other women involved.
And you can't get mad at that.
No, not at all. Absolutely not. And they have done a pretty good job with it. Liv Morgan has looked pretty well these last couple of weeks, and it's nice to see Ruby Riott back. Sarah Logan is Sarah Logan, and of course you're going to get what you get from Natalya. So yeah, it's been a pretty good build with these women in this Elimination Chamber, and it has the most on the line on the card as well.
Sure, absolutely. It has the biggest stakes, I think, of the entire card. We haven't had really a chance to talk about it. We can take a minute to talk about Goldberg, right?
Oh, jeez.
That's something, right, that has just captivated our imaginations, but for all the wrong reasons. And that's also, to me, it was a distraction. To me, it's a distraction from Elimination Chamber. He's not even on the card. Hell, he wasn't even on SmackDown last night, Tony.
Yeah, neither was Roman Reigns either. And
that's right.
It's look, I get why they're doing it. It's more of an entertainment aspect more than we're going to get a great wrestling match between the two guys. But why? I don't understand the panic mode that they had to switch the main event or a match to put in Goldberg, which, look, the Fiend and Goldberg match was what it was. It wasn't great. And I guess they're expecting to get a better one from Roman and Goldberg. I don't understand. And then again, they put Roman in another tough situation again. A match that nobody wants, and a match that a lot of fans are probably going to crap all over at WrestleMania.
And here's the thing: it's something that I've talked about on my main show, but it bears repeating because I think it's important to underscore this. And I mentioned it when we started talking about the build up from this year as opposed to last year. Look at where we are this year versus last year, where we had an organic build to a WrestleMania match. It wasn't the main event, but it was still for the title with the legacy, right? And we had a huge organic build. Kofi Mania was fantastic. WWE pivoted and was like, look, we're getting huge reactions, might as well go with this. So they gave the audience a match they wanted to see. Who wants to see Goldberg and Roman Reigns? And this is not even a knock on Roman, because I like Roman Reigns, I really do, and I'm at a stage. And give me your thoughts on this, but I'm as regards to what they've been doing with him for ever since he's been back from his battle with cancer. He had that great tag team match with Undertaker, and I think it was against Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan, I believe. SummerSlam, I want to say, it was during the summer last year. But outside of that, I feel really bad for Roman Reigns that he's saddled in such sucky situations that he just can't sink his teeth into or get creative and have some fantastic matches like we know we can have.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said with the Kofi Mania stuff, the best thing WWE does is when they make feuds and storylines off of organic stuff. And we saw that with the Yes Movement years ago with Daniel Bryan. It was organic. It happened on its own. And it was one of the best storylines they've ever done.
And it was an uphill battle for everyone involved, though, because it took them a while to get behind Daniel Bryan. It really took them a while.
Yes, absolutely. And then we got last year, Kofi Mania. That was organically made, and it became such a hit during WrestleMania. And then now you got them just forcing it on us. Nobody wants to see Goldberg and Roman Reigns. And, I feel bad for Roman because comes back from cancer. You think automatically you hear fans bickering, oh, he's going to win the title right away. He doesn't. He does it the natural way, going through storylines, through feuds with other wrestlers.
Which was smart.
Right. And then all of a sudden he comes out and challenges Goldberg when we're supposed to get a men's elimination chamber to see who goes on to face Goldberg or whoever. It just kind of, it's not what the fans want. And Vince McMahon obviously doesn't care. It's all about the money and the entertainment value. And I feel bad for Roman because he's going to get another Brock Lesnar situation during that match where the fans are going to crap all over the match. They're not even going to give it a chance.
Thank God it's not in Brooklyn, is all I'm saying. Thank God this match not happening in Brooklyn.
And I hope it's not the main event either, because it's going to be a shit show, honestly.
It's a tricky one, eh? Which one is it going to, Brock and Drew or Roman and Goldberg? Because you could argue that the most marquee match out of those two is Roman and Goldberg, right?
I agree with you. That's true. That's the marquee matchup. But if you want to go with storyline build up and the match that will be better, you'd go with McIntyre and Brock.
Yeah, sure. Oh, absolutely. And you know Drew is just chomping at the bit for this one. He is going to do whatever it takes to come across as a star, because he's going to have that sense of urgency. And motivated Brock is good Brock.
I agree.
We've seen it before, and I think he's in on this. I think he's behind this one. He's seemed motivated over the past few months. I'm looking forward to it, actually. But anyway, that's another show. That's a whole other show.
Absolutely. We can go on forever about that.
Yes. Yeah, we actually could. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with Elimination Chamber. I'm on WWE.com looking at their card setup. So I'm going to be reading it in reverse order as it's presented on WWE.com. So it's not me saying, oh, they're going to start with this match. No. I'm taking what they're presenting us and moving forward. So let's start with the first match. Daniel Bryan versus Drew Gulak. Tony, I'm going to I'm going to just preface this really, really simply. It's a match that I never thought I'd see in WWE. I am excited because I am a Drew Gulak fan. I'm a Daniel Bryan fan. These are two extraordinary wrestlers, and it's happening.
Yeah. It's definitely one of the matches that I'm very looking forward to tomorrow night. There's not very many on this card, but this one is definitely one I'm excited for. I actually wish they would have built this one out and had this at WrestleMania.
Sure.
But I'm excited to see this match. Unfortunately, Gulak's probably going to lose, but man, this could be the match of the night tomorrow night on the pay-per-view.
This has all the potential to steal the show.
Absolutely.
I really like. Okay, I've watched a lot of 205 Live in my time, so I've seen the evolution of Drew Gulak from the sort of campaigning politician with this no flips and the PowerPoint presentation. Like he can do goofy without going over the top. He's really, really good at it. And they're sort of leaning back into that character after his final run as on 205 Live as Cruiserweight champion, where he was very serious. He was very focused on just messing people up. Now they're reverting a little bit back to his analytical thing. And I liked how this was built, albeit it was very, very short. Mm-hmm. I liked that, it was like, well, I've been analyzing everything you've been doing. I can get any jabroni into the ring, coach them, and I'll tell them, I'll tell them where the holes in your offense is, Daniel, and they'll be able to beat you. And they haven't been. I like that Daniel Bryan was like, well, hey, if you figured me out, why don't you come show me all my weaknesses in the ring? And I like how they've been building it, and I like how they've been establishing Drew Gulak. And I'm going to tell you, I don't think it's as cut and dry a finish as we may think, because we have Daniel Bryan in the ring. And Daniel Bryan is a guy who understands what's good for business. He's a mark for the business, right? He knows what's good moving forward, and he doesn't mind putting guys over. We've seen it with Mustafa Ali, for instance. We've seen it with a bunch of guys. And I clearly can see him doing the job for Gulak, and then look at that. Then SmackDown instantly has a credible, interesting heel that is sorely needed, because if your big heel on SmackDown is Baron Corbin, you clearly need other guys to come and step up and be the bad guys, because maybe in the minds of WWE creative, The Fiend is a heel, but he ain't.
No,
he's not. So I can see Daniel Bryan being like, well, you know what, this is the right thing to do. Drew Gulak goes over, and Drew Gulak instantly becomes a star. But I agree with you. This has all the potential to be the match of the night, really.
I'm really excited. I'm glad Drew Gulak's getting an opportunity here and actually facing someone that he can go out there and have a great match with.
Yep.
And like you said, if they do have him win, that's a big boost for him and another heel that they could add on SmackDown, because you're right, they lack heels. I think the second strongest heel on there is probably maybe Dolph Ziggler because of the Otis storyline. But yeah, they really lack heels over on SmackDown, and he could be one that could really boost SmackDown up with his speaking skills and his wrestling skills.
And the personality that they're developing for him, Bruce Pritchard, he likes his characters. He likes he likes characters, and Drew Gulak is able to pull one off. Plus, you know what? The pay-per-view's in Pennsylvania.
Oh, look at you.
And that's where he's from.
There you go. Look at you. They've been thinking deep there. I like it.
Doing my research. That's why they pay me the mediocre bucks, man.
There you go.
So do you have Daniel Bryan? Is that your prediction?
I think Daniel Bryan wins. All I want out of this match is them to give them the proper time, to let them both showcase their skills and let them show them that Drew Gulak is no, one trick pony, and that he can go out there and have a fantastic match, because a lot of these wrestling fans probably haven't seen a lot of Gulak because he's been on 205 Live, and people don't really watch that.
Yeah, exactly. So there's probably some people who are going to be quite surprised, and I hope so. So, but I this is my dark horse. It's Drew Gulak, I think.
I like that. Like, and I hope it happens.
I hope so too. Next, for the U.S. title, champion Andrade defending against Humberto Carrillo. You're shaking your head. Go right ahead, Tony. Tell
Again,
me
this
what's on your
match,
mind.
really? Like your buddy Sean Ross Sapp said, you know, this match again, like, really? Like, why are they having this? I get it. They have fantastic matches together, but doesn't mean we have to get it over and over again. I don't even know who you could have replaced this with Humberto, but look, it'll be a good match. Am I excited for it? No. And I honestly I think Humberto is gonna win it. I think Humberto beats Andrade this Sunday and becomes the new champion.
Let's talk about Humberto, shall
All right,
we?
go for it. Let me hear your thoughts on him.
Again, he had a very, 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 very short stint in NXT, and then they bumped him over to 205 Live. I never quite got, and I still don't get him. I don't see what WWE sees in him. Not that he's not talented. He is. Not that he can't go. He can. Not that he's not handsome. I guess
it's the dimples, man. It's the dimples.
It's the dimples, right? Whenever I saw him on 205 Live, and they pushed him as a big babyface on 205 Live. They gave him the vignettes. They gave him the star treatment. He just couldn't connect with the fans. He just cannot connect with the fans. I don't know what it is. There's something there that keeps him from being fully embraced by a viewing audience. And as far as his talent goes, like I said, he's talented, but as far as people going around doing acrobatic aerials, flips and stuff, you've got Rey Mysterio on your roster. You have Ricochet on your roster. Even AJ Styles can pull him out when he wants to. And you brought up Angel Garza. Why would you even waste time on Humberto? Like I said, it's not because he's a bad guy. I think it's a question of circumstance. I don't see what he brings more to the table than those other guys that I just mentioned, who are much more talented.
I agree. That's a great point. You know, they could have put Ray in this match, or look,
why not
Angel
Garza? Why not
Garza? To me, is going to be a future star in the WWE if they continue to book him correctly. This guy can go.
Well,
yeah,
you know.
I feel like he can bring it all to the table. He talks. He's that ladies' man type of thing. The pants is over with everyone. I get your point on that. Humberto to me doesn't stick out more than Ray or Angel Garza or even Ricochet, who I don't even know what's going on with him. I would have much rather have seen Ricochet in this match, not after you mentioned him.
Sure.
But, I don't understand their mindset of having him be put in these title matches over and over and over again.
You know, the cynical part of me, especially, because, they've been doing the Andrade Ray, Angel Garza, Humberto, like 4 squares feuding. The cynical part of me looks at this and they're like, man, you guys are trying too hard to get the Latino community back into WWE. Like, you really, really, really are, by putting... Of course, like I said, I'm just being cynical about it, because ultimately, give me Andrade versus Rey Mysterio anytime, I'm okay with it. Give me Angel Garza versus any of these guys, I'm okay with it. And Andrade too. Look, and Andrade's fantastic. He's been nothing but fantastic since coming up onto main roster. So to me, there's a lot of posturing happening here. To me, it jives like making Jinder Mahal WWE champion because we're going to try and go into the Indian market. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you, and I didn't want to say it, but hey, you said it. It seems like they're really.
It's nothing. It's nothing. I'm not. It's not racist, right? It's just,
right.
I'm just looking at this from a very cynical point of view, where I'm like,
it's true. It's true. It's they're really pandering to the Mexican audience, and they've been really pushing Humberto to try to make him become a star in every household, which it's not working, and it does seem like they're really trying to get more Latin stars on there. Because are they doing a Mexico trip soon? That's what it seems like.
Which is fine because I'm always the first to say that there's not enough people of color up in spots in WWE. So I'm definitely not complaining, saying, "Oh, look at them with the Latinos on the pay-per-view." That's not it. But they're in this circle that like this. They're all fighting amongst each other in this one bubble, where I'm kind of like, let's mix it up a little. That's why I feel cynical about it, because they're like just putting them all together and letting them fight each other, whereas Andrade could be
branch them out, have them face other people on the roster. That would be nice.
We've seen Andrade and Aleister Black in NXT. Why not give us that back again? And it would be fantastic. Put the strap on Aleister. Why don't you? It's like it would all work. Look, it's going to be a good match.
Yes.
Who do you think is going to win?
I think Humberto wins.
This is stupid if they do. Why didn't they take it off Andrade for his 30-day suspension if he's going to come back after not wrestling for 30 days and then take it off of him to put it on goddamn Humberto?
Yeah, that's the WWE for you. I could totally see them having Humberto win, and then Monday Night Raw we get a rematch.
Oh, we're getting at least 3 rematches on Raw. Yes. This is my prediction. We're at least getting 3 of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Humberto's probably a really good guy, and he can go in the ring, as we can see.
Sure.
But there's no need for him to have the title. I just feel like the way that they've been booking him lately, that he'll win tomorrow night.
I hope Andrade retains.
I do too.
Because I think then they, you know what I'd like? I'd like Zelina to be like in a position where she has to pick one of them. She's like I'm a busy woman. I only have time to manage one of you, and then I'm going to manage the champion. So you guys fight it out. I mean, between him and Angel Garza, and that'll be a banger for WrestleMania.
Hell yeah. I love your booking, man. Great.
Thank you.
They should sign you, man. I swear. That's a great idea right there.
My demands are too high. All right, next title match. The Raw Tag Team Championship is going to be on the line with the newly minted Street Profits versus Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. Street Profits proving to us all that you can lose matches on top of losing matches, and still get your title shots and your title wins. It's an inspiring story. Let's talk about the Street Profits.
Shall we? I'm a big Street Profits fan. A lot of people seem to not be on the Street Profits train yet for whatever reason. Maybe how they've been booked on Raw as the hype men. I don't know, but I've been a fan of theirs since NXT. So I'm happy for them for winning the tag team titles. Am I happy how they won them? No. Putting them on these little situations one last time to get a shot at the titles. I mean, come on now. I didn't like that at all. But I'm happy for them. Am I happy to see this match for the 3rd time in, 2 weeks? No, not at all. And I would be highly disappointed if WWE just had them drop them after they just won them on Monday night. I hope they keep the titles. But knowing the WWE, they're going to probably lose this Sunday night.
Well, there's a fair chance, of course, like you said, because it's WWE. I like the Street Profits too, but I like NXT Street Profits way more.
Absolutely.
Way more. Because they, oh my goodness. See, to me, the way all the recaps they do, I always thought they were cringe. The Saturday Night Live skits, I thought they were bad. If they had leaned into their NXT personalities, I think everything would have been fine. There wouldn't have been an issue at all. But here, my God, I don't know what they've been doing with them on Raw. Well, I do. They've been mismanaging them. That's what I think that the reactions would have been a lot louder. People would have been a lot more excited to get behind them, and just.
Do you remember months ago when, I don't remember what the match was, but the Street Profits won, And you had Montez and Angelo Dawkins going to the crowd, and he grabbed the baby, and the lady let her hold his
Yes.
baby. And
Yes.
how the crowd was just so into them, and they just didn't do anything after that for them to even help them keep that momentum going. They had them doing the SNL skits, had them hyping up pay-per-views during Raw. I don't understand that. And the rumor was that Paul Heyman loves the Street Profits, so why not put them in damn matches instead of having them do segments on Raw each week, getting us hyped for other storylines going
Right.
on the episode?
I agree. And here's something that always makes me laugh. When WWE decides to ape other things like SNL, where they're like, "Hey, we can do this too. We have funny guys here." WWE then, or wrestlers in general, will be like, "Yeah, you know what? We have to spend years training for what we're doing. Not everyone can do what we do because we train, we work hard, so on and so forth, right?"
Right.
It's the same thing with comedy. You can't just sit down and say, "Hey, you know what? I can tell jokes. I'll do comedy." It's not the same. It's exactly the same thing. Actually, you have to train. You do have to work at your craft to bring it up to a level where you're entertaining. So it always feels weird to me when WWE does these things, because then on the other hand, they're going to flip around and say, "Hey, you know what? Professional wrestlers can do it all, and you could try to do it, but you're not as good as we are because we do all this training, so on and so forth." But then they'll go and they'll ape stuff, thinking that they can pull it off as well. Anyway, I'm kind of sick of this matchup as well. I don't think there's really this is a glorified Raw match. If we're being very honest with each other, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm just not.
I'm not either. It's the third match in 2 weeks. I mean, I'm totally expecting to see Owens get involved in this match some way, somehow. I'm just not excited for it. And like I said, I'm a big Street Profits fan. You would think I'd be excited for this match, but I'm not.
That's a good point that you bring up, though. And this is how I lean into my own prediction, where I don't think Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins. He'll always be Buddy Murphy to me.
Oh yeah, Murphy, get out of here with that.
Yeah. This is where I don't think they're going to be winning because they're going to be setting up nice and proper Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins for WrestleMania. I mean, this is a long time coming. There's no other outcome for those two guys, and honestly, it's the better outcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, and look, if you said this was going to be a WrestleMania match months ago, I wouldn't have believed you. And but they have built it up properly, like you said. There's reason behind a match at WrestleMania between the two guys. I'm actually hoping that match actually happens more than the Street Profits losing the tag team titles.
You know what I'm really bummed about? I'm bummed that Samoa Joe is probably going to miss WrestleMania again this year.
Again, man. It's always something with him. It's always something. Either an injury, and then you got the wellness violation this time. It's just he's every time around March he has something come up with him.
It's such a bummer. Because I really like Samoa Joe. I really like Samoa Joe, and he was sinking his teeth into this angle with Kevin Owens and Rollins' group. It's a shame. It's really
right, and you would have to think if Samoa never gotten this wellness, this would be, instead of the Profits, it'd be Joe and Owens going for the tag team titles probably at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I agree. I concur. All right. Let's move on to our next match, a no disqualification match. Aleister Black versus AJ Styles. You excited for this one, Tony?
I'm excited, but I think it's just going to lead up to The Undertaker showing up on Sunday night. So I just hope they get a good match out of the two guys before we get The Undertaker showing up. I'm excited for it because I was looking forward to it on Monday night, and then Styles puts in all these little stipulations. You got to beat Gallows. You got to beat Anderson. And then he finally gets his hands on him, and he beats him in a couple of minutes because he's so worn out from the two matches.
Well, I mean, if you're going to have Aleister Black lose, because this is his first singles match, first singles loss since he's been called up on Maine. It's his first loss. I talked about it a bit on the show this week. I was a little disappointed that they didn't make a bigger deal out of it. You know, sometimes they being WWE, they have something very, very simple in their hands. They have something that the audience can just wrap their heads around really, really easy and get behind. This guy's undefeated. Who's going to be the guy who's going to put down Aleister Black? It's such an easy story to get into because everyone can get into that kind of of storyline, right? But at least it took 3 guys to take him out, you know, kind of thing. It took all of the OC to put down Aleister Black, so that's something there. But moving on to here, I mean, I think there's no reason for this match to not be good because AJ Styles should be able to work a great match. Aleister can work a great match. AJ Styles is going to sell the hell out of Aleister Black's offense. He's going to look like a beast. And yeah, I'm convinced Undertaker's going to show up. I'm absolutely sure.
They wouldn't have made it a no DQ match if Undertaker's not going to come probably maybe save the day for Aleister. Probably going to get the OC getting involved into the match. And you make a good point. On Monday night, all on Twitter, you hear people bitching and moaning about Aleister Black losing his first ever match, but they don't put into play that it took the whole OC to bring him down. And again, you make another great point. They didn't mention his undefeated streak, never taken a loss. It was more Styles mimicking the Undertaker and, what is the Undertaker's response going to be? It's more that Aleister Black is just put into this feud to build up another feud, which is kind of shitty seeing that Aleister Black is who he is and had that undefeated streak for so long. They just put that on the back burner.
Do you well, okay, let's come right out. Who do you think is going to win here?
I think Aleister wins because of the Undertaker.
I think Aleister does too. Now, let's do some fantasy booking then. What do you think goes into? How do you think this shapes WrestleMania? For both guys, like for both Aleister and AJ moving forward here.
Aleister, I have no damn clue what they're going to do. If they leave him off WrestleMania, that is a shame. There's no way you can take him off. I don't even know who you can feud him with at the moment, honestly, for WrestleMania. Styles and Undertaker, I hear a lot of people not excited for this match, but I think it's going to be a good one. If you put Undertaker in a match with someone who can sell for him and can do a majority of the work in the ring, I think it'll be a good match, and I think the buildup will be good. But the big question mark, like you said, is Aleister Black. Who the hell is he going to wrestle at WrestleMania? He's probably going to be put in the damn Battle Royal, for all we know.
Oh, my God. Do you want to hear? This is what I'd like. Here's what I'd like. And it would make sense in the whole circumstance. AJ Styles versus Undertaker, I'll be honest, I'm not excited about it. Because Taker, it's basically Taker in a singles match. That it doesn't do anything for me. You put Undertaker in a tag match though.
Hey.
Because he had a great match with Roman Reigns, and that's it. I'm trying to remember when it was. It was last year. Anyway, I can't quite remember. But he had a great match with Roman Reigns. It looked fantastic. Went above and beyond. Why not have like Undertaker and Aleister Black versus the OC then?
I would be okay with that.
Right?
Yeah, and kind of maybe handing down the torch to Aleister a little bit, kind of doing that kind of type of thing. That's a great idea, and I hope WWE does it. I think that would be a great idea for them to do.
We're a long way from Aleister Black, you know, the and his mystic aura that he had in NXT, you know, where everyone was drawing parallels. Here's your next Undertaker kind of thing. I think we're a little more removed from that now, but there's still parallels to be drawn. They're still both strikers, tall guys, very imposing auras as far as their charisma goes. It'd be a hell of a visual to have both of them like just standing next to each other, ready to kick some ass, you know? I think it'd be fantastic. Put them in a handicap match against the OC. You get your AJ Styles and Undertaker sheen there as well, which is a marquee match in itself. I mean, you know, you probably would have liked to have seen this maybe in 2007.
Yeah.
But, you know,
that's with both Undertaker matches nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you on that.
But yeah, I mean, if it leads into that, because I can see, like you said, OC just being dicks the entire match, and then Undertaker comes out just to get rid of Gallows and Anderson, so that Alistair can can put AJ Styles proper away. Because I think they're going to give Alistair a clean win over AJ Styles because they like him. He's protected, despite the fact that you may think he's not because he lost on Monday. He's protected. So I think there's something to be done. So you've got Alistair. I've got Alistair too, honestly.
Quick question for you. I don't know if you saw, but they named Styles Wrestler of the Decade. What did you think about that?
Yeah, the PWI, right?
Yes.
It's hard to it's difficult to not argue a point for AJ Styles. I did this. I talked about it on a previous episode of the MrWarrenHayes show. Subscribe today. I had three that I just couldn't put my head that I couldn't settle on. I had three. I had AJ Styles, I had Daniel Bryan, and I had Hiroshi Tanahashi. Those were my three. Those were my three wrestlers of the decade. Guys who for whatever reason felt I feel like they had an enormous impact in 2010. AJ Styles, if it was only because he worked everywhere, he continued to reinvent himself and can still perform at an extremely high level, even though he's in his 40s now, and that's fantastic. I think Hiroshi Tanahashi has to be credited with saving New Japan. It's basically bringing it into this new era, bringing in being more palatable for North American tastes. This is all on him. Plus, he can go. I mean, don't get me wrong. And then Daniel Bryan as a wrestler, a guy who wrestles in his own style. No one can wrestle like Daniel Bryan. A guy who had to who we all thought his career was taken away too short. He came back. A guy who is incapable of having a bad match, who was able to go against the grain in WWE as well. Like, there's so much to be told. It's not a bad choice, but I can't. Those are my three guys that I just constantly look back upon. And I'm like, those are your three wrestlers of the decade right there. Which one between the three is the top guy? I don't know, but I mean, it's not a bad choice, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I have to agree with you on that. Those three guys were absolutely fantastic this last decade. It's hard to choose if you're going to go that deep into it. You know, all three guys had an impact in their wrestling companies. Where Styles, I think more Styles probably won it because of his traveling to other companies and being so successful.
Sure.
And then being how he is now in his 40s and still putting on high level matches. Yeah, I can't argue it too much. I didn't mind it, but your argument about those three guys, it's those are some great points right there.
But like I said, like, it's hard to but this is how I am. I'm indecisive. I can't like put it's this guy.
But could it be this guy as well? Yeah, I could hear you.
Yeah, no one, it's like, well, it could be either of these guys. But it's not a bad choice. Good on them. If they had put like Roman Reigns, I probably would have.
I was just curious to hear from a wrestling mind your thoughts on that.
SmackDown Tag Team Championship is going to be is going to be determined in the Elimination Chamber. We have Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. We have Heavy Machinery. We have Lucha House Party. We have the Usos. We have the New Day, and we have champions The Miz and John Morrison. Before we get into it, just want your thoughts on this. The Revival is nowhere to be found.
Yeah, we have the Lucha House Party instead. This is what a shame. Yeah, the Revival are probably on their way out. If you were gonna ask me, I don't feel like they're staying. If they were, they would be put into this match. They haven't been on SmackDown in I don't know how long. Well, so something's up.
The last matches that they've had, wasn't the last match they had was they were pinned by, it was like a triple threat or something to that effect, and Heavy Machinery pinned them or something.
I think you're right.
Like they've been on a farewell tour, honestly.
Right. Basically, I know they came out to help maybe Baron Corbin in one match, but I think that was about it.
I mean, their last hurrah, let's be frank. Well, I'll be Warren, you be Tony, but let's be honest. Their last, hey, how you doing, dad jokes? Their last hurrah was their temporary pairing, or the trio that they had with Randy Orton.
Yeah,
that was fantastic.
Which led to nothing. Yeah, it was. You're right.
Which led to Randy Orton being tossed over to Raw.
Yeah, and Randy Orton, bickering on Twitter that he wished he could be with the Revival. It's very true. It's the Revival. It seems like they're just not respected in the WWE for whatever reason. I mean, they put out bangers on NXT, and then
legendary stuff.
Exactly, and then they get brought up to the main roster, and they're just.
Vince doesn't get them.
I don't understand it. I just don't.
Vince doesn't get the fact. Here's what we're just spitballing here, right?
Right.
We don't have any reports. We don't talk to Vince McMahon or Bruce Pritchard or Paul Heyman. I'm thinking Vince hates the territories. He always did. He wants to be at the head of a media company. He doesn't want a wrestling group. So he doesn't get the Revival's gimmick. The name of the goddamn team is the Revival. It's a revival of what? Of old school wrestling. That's the gimmick. We're not necessarily going, hey, let's bring back territory days. That's not necessarily it, but I think that's all he sees, and he doesn't get it.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't understand that they're a throwback of the wrestling tag teams that we used to watch when we were little, and he feels like that doesn't go these days, that they're not entertaining enough to be on weekly television every week. It's just, they're
not real life superheroes.
Right. When they move on to wherever company they go to, I think Vince is going to regret it. I honestly do, because they're going to, I don't understand his mindset. I don't understand maybe why Triple H can't try to get in his ear. Maybe he has.
Maybe he's done his best. Yeah.
Right. How great this team is. And maybe he doesn't like that they refer to wrestling as wrestling like it should be. I just don't understand why Vince has such a negative towards them. Like, they have to be loved by the other people in the locker room. But when it comes to Vince McMahon, it's like, yeah, get them out of my face.
Look, everyone they've worked with seems to have enjoyed them tremendously. Like for Randy Orton to go out on Twitter and say, why am I not doing stuff with these guys? That's telling. And I like Randy Orton a lot these days for doing those kinds of things, putting over other people. I really appreciate that. And when Sasha and Bayley finally got the women's titles, they were in pictures on Instagram and on Twitter constantly together. They even did interviews, little segments together, and they were boosting each other up on Twitter. I don't think they're not assholes. They cannot be assholes. And look, whatever they decide to do, they'll be happier wherever they go. They will be happier than in WWE. They will be treated as stars. Of course, everyone is saying AEW because AEW, their whole gimmick, the thing that makes them stand apart from everywhere else is the tag team division. So of course they'd be very happy there. But you know what? I have them hit the indie circuit. Let them work that New Japan, NWA, Ring of Honor triangle for a while.
Oof, yeah.
Right?
Imagine them in Japan and
get them
NWA.
in World Tag League in New Japan later this year. I just got goosebumps thinking about it.
They would tear it up on the NDC. Absolutely. Look, everybody wants the dream match of them and the Young Bucks. I get it. I want to see that match as well. But let's not get it right away. Let them do what they want to do. Let them travel a little bit. Let them get some wrestling in, and then have them go to AEW and put out some matches with Hangman and Omega if they're still together, and the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros and all them. I mean, it would be fantastic, and that's exactly what a lot of wrestling fans want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I can even see them having a nice little... There's a lot of trios on AEW these days. I could see them having a trio with a Hangman Adam Page who just said, who hit the bricks from the Elite.
Oof.
And he gets these two guys with him. That'd be good
Don't,
stuff.
you're getting me happy, excited over this. I would love to see that.
All right, so look at us here. We're talking about the revival and so on and so forth, but there's a match.
What are your thoughts on the elimination tag matches? A lot of people think it's a clusterfuck. Do you agree?
No, I think it'll be okay. Haven't we had one a couple of years ago and it was fine?
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. It's just the problem with this match is the problem with WWE's tag team division. Nobody cares because you never build anyone. The only team that they've been properly building, or at least since last night, is Heavy Machinery.
Mm-hmm.
But then they've been building Otis. If we're being honest, Otis is super over.
Yeah, he was,
and with reason, because the Mandy angle, and I've said it numerous times, and I will continue to hammer it home. It has been one of the best reasons to watch WWE. It was so well done, and it was well done to the point that it did what it had to do. It got a guy over. They did an angle where they got a guy over. They did the marriage thing on Raw, and look at look at the wonders it did for Bobby Lashley and Rusev's career since then.
Don't get me started on Bobby Lashley, man. You're right. I've sold this to a lot of my friends that we talk to over on our show as well, and people who listen. To me, Mandy and Otis has been the best storyline on SmackDown. It's got you invested, it's got you pulling for Otis, and it's got you hating Dolph Ziggler for what he has done. It's done the job that it was supposed to do. And it's been great each week of how they've been building it to the date, and how Otis had to build up that self-esteem to go ask her out on a date. Stuff that we all have been through in life.
And just and just having Tucker next to him is like, you can do it, buddy. It's like, why couldn't you root for the guy?
Right. And now, look, and they're still doing it. They haven't ruined it yet. Hopefully they don't. But to me, coming into this match, it's more about Otis getting his hands on Dolph than the actual tag team title match.
And honestly, if they're doing this smart, because last night Dolph super kicked Otis and got the pin on him, right? Mm-hmm. That's how the match ended, which is perfect. It's poetic. That's what you need to do if they're smart. Just saying. They keep Otis and Dolph away from each other. Like, just have Dolph be a cowardly shit heel tomorrow.
Yeah.
And give us the singles match at WrestleMania.
Oh man, you think they'll do that though?
I wish they do. Without a stipulation where whoever wins gets to
Mandy.
date Mandy.
Yeah,
that's stupid. That we don't care about. Just give us this is the perfect payoff to this angle. Keep both guys away from each other, or have Dolph super kick him again sort of out of nowhere after Otis has tried most of the match to get his hands on him, kind of thing. So that we could and then you have Tucker at ringside for Otis, just so that Tucker can get his payday. You have Bobby Roode come out, and then Mandy eventually comes out, and then the WrestleMania match happens, and then it's revealed because there's a plot here, right? Because there's still the question of who sent the text to Otis saying that Mandy was running late while she wasn't. There's still that hasn't been figured out. I think it's Sonya. Have all of that come to a head at WrestleMania so that Otis ends up with the girl. That's what we
imagine.
want.
Yeah, imagine him holding her up on his shoulders. The crowd would love it.
A WrestleMania moment, and WWE likes the
they're all
right?
about those moments. That's why we're getting Goldberg and Reigns. But yeah, it seems like that's the perfect opportunity for them to do it. Like you said, Dolph and Roode are last in the chamber. So they could absolutely do it to where Otis wants to get his hands on him, but can't because they're last. And then when they finally get in, maybe he does super kick him out of nowhere and Otis loses and they're eliminated. I think that buildup would be absolutely perfect. Knowing the WWE, I think they're going to capitalize. I wouldn't be surprised if Heavy Machinery won tomorrow night.
You think so? You think there'd be a title change? Yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah, you think?
Yeah, I honestly
think excited here.
I think Heavy wins tomorrow night, and we get them facing Ziggler and Roode at WrestleMania. Not a match I want to see. I'd rather go with Otis and Ziggler because, like you said, it makes perfect sense how they've been building it as just them two feuding with each other. and you actually the text, and who text who, and who did that, and I'm just hoping they don't break up Heavy Machinery, because there's been a lot of people speculating that it could be Tucker who
Man,
sent the text message out. He's just jealous of the success that Otis has been getting.
too
I don't
soon.
want that. Yeah, too soon on that. And this has been a great storyline. Why not end it at WrestleMania with them two facing each other?
They've been hinting a lot at the fact that Sonya's been like, "Oh, Dolph is such a good guy for you." You know, I think, yeah, I think she just like, "I'm your best friend" kind of thing.
Yeah, kind
Just
of like
looking out for
cahoots
you.
with Dolph Ziggler, trying to get him to be the one that she dates. You know, all these
Yeah,
friends have done that before, so it makes sense. You can
it'd
see
be
it
okay.
happening.
I'd be
Yeah,
okay with that. And yeah, sure. Um, as far as this match goes, I don't see Miz and Morrison losing.
yeah,
Because then you completely nerf John Morrison's return. They've won only one match since coming back as a tag team. The match at Super Showdown to win the titles. But literally, they've lost every other match. Otherwise, they lost again last night.
yeah.
So, but then, so do you do that? Do you absolutely like take away all of Morrison's momentum? But then I'm like, hey, it's not as if WWE has never ruined a career before, right?
Right. The thing is, too, is say if Miz and Rude do win, I'm sorry, Miz and Morrison win, who are they going to face at WrestleMania?
I'm thinking triple threat. I'm thinking Usos, New Day, Miz, and Morrison.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm fine with that. If they go that route, I'm absolutely okay with that.
Because you have to have Dolph versus Otis.
Yep.
It's been the best storyline in WWE for weeks. Consistent. You could have argued for a while that the whole Monday Night Messiah stuff with Kevin Owens' faction, and for a while that was super exciting stuff. You could argue that was a really good one too. But the Mandy and Otis Dolph thing has just been gold. I have Miz and Morrison retaining. How about you?
Me too. Miz and Morrison.
Oh,
I'm gonna say Dark Horse Heavy Machinery wins, but I think Miz and Morrison win.
I want to shout out to anyone who has Lucha House Party winning here, because you guys have a set of cojones on you if you're doing that pick that I could only dream of having.
Why?
I don't know.
Why, man?
There's no reason.
Why?
Intercontinental Championship is going to be defended. Braun Strowman versus Sami Zayn and Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. You're shaking your head again. You're distraught, Tony. My God, I wish you had a better time coming on my show.
It's not. Look, I love coming on here, but God, yeah. What is the point? Just to have Strowman squash all three of them. That's basically what it's gonna be. Like, I love Nakamura, Cesaro, and Sami Zayn, and I hate what they're doing with them. I like them as a tandem; they work perfectly together. But this match to me is just gonna have Strowman come out and defeat all three of them. That's basically what it is. I'm not looking forward to this match. I'm not happy that Strowman's the champion. I'm not looking forward to this match. I don't care for this match at all.
I agree to a level, to a certain level. I think you don't need this kind of gimmickry. That I agree. It's very it's shenanigan-y, and I don't like it. But you arguably have four of the most creative wrestlers in the ring at the same time. Braun have you seen the stuff that he's been doing with EC3 and Drake Maverick? What did they call it? That's super cool. Like, he's a funny guy, and he's got a great head on his shoulders. He's been, more often than not, except when he's put up against an absolute dud like what's his face, the boxer, Wild
Tyson Fury. Yes.
Aside from hopeless situations like that, he's always been able to make the most out of a situation. Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Shinsuke Nakamura, they're all super creative guys. There's a way for this match to be fun. Will it be a good match? No. Will it be a fun match? I think it has all the potential to be really entertaining if they let these four guys, super creative guys, do their thing. Because there's no reason for this to not be a good time. Will the result be predictable? Sure. Although I could see Sami Zayn becoming Intercontinental Champion and then leading into WrestleMania. I don't think it's going to happen, but I could see it. Because I also think that Braun needs a strong, solid reign because I think he needs the IC title more than a lot of people realize. Moving forward,
I can see that. Yeah, I agree with you on that. With the he needing to get the Strowman to me has gone stale. Like the stuff with EC3 and Drake Maverick, that stuff is great. Don't get me wrong, but
as an in-ring performer.
This how they booked him and how he's been, it's just been kind of stale to me.
Sure.
A couple of years ago, they had the momentum behind Strowman to have him maybe win the world championship. And whatever reason, they had him go out and get squashed by Brock Lesnar. And that, to me, just ruined it for me. After that, it's just been same old Braun Strowman running around the ring and tackling and shouldering people outside the ring. It's just not something that I'm entertained by. Now, I'm going to go in this match because of you with giving it a chance. I'm going to give it a chance and hopefully be entertained by it and not just crap on it before the match actually happens. And hopefully be entertained by it. I do think Strowman wins, and hopefully they give, like you said, give these guys, a little bit of creativity during the match and let them do stuff that normally WWE probably wouldn't let them do.
I mean, and I'm not saying like suddenly like pull out, I don't know, like pool noodles or inflatable things. That's not what I mean by creative. It's just these guys can come up with fun. There's no reason why these four minds together couldn't come up with some fun spots with stuff that just might be really entertaining to see. Sammy's been low-key fantastic, and he's been doing a great job staying away from Braun Strowman actually touching him, which I think is indicative to where they're heading towards WrestleMania, to be honest.
You think so?
I think so. Cesaro can do anything. And Shinsuke has that same type of mindset as well. I think Shinsuke doesn't give a fuck. He'll be like, yeah, sure, let's do anything at this point. I don't care. I'm getting paid and I can surf on the weekends, so everything's cool.
There you go. Yeah.
So, but I think, look, I'm hopeful for it. Is it, like I said, is it going to be a 5-star classic? It's not even going to be a 4-star match. It's going to be fine. I think it's going to be a good cool down, and I think it's going to showcase the guys, but I think Braun is retaining. What do you think, Tony?
Braun, all the way, Braun.
Final match of the card, the Women's Elimination Chamber match. The winner faces Raw Women's Champion Beckworth Lynchington at WrestleMania. In the Elimination Chamber, we have Natalya, we have Liv Morgan, we have Sarah Logan, the returning Ruby Riott, Asuka, and Shayna Baszler. Tony, if you haven't been paying attention, you'll think any of these women have a chance. But if you have been paying attention, Shayna Baszler is winning.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't like that they start feuds before the actual chamber match. Like, right? I get it. That just makes no sense to me. That defeats the purpose of this match.
And it's exactly what they did with, sorry to just jump in here, but because you make a really good point, because they did the same thing with Charlotte and Rhea Ripley.
Yes.
Where Rhea Ripley had to defend the title against Bianca Belair, and you're like, well, Bianca's not winning now.
Right. It doesn't make, I don't get that. It just frustrates me. I don't understand why they do that. It just makes zero sense, makes matches pretty much pointless to where you're like, oh, well, it's obvious Shayna's going to win. There's no way she's not. But my question for you, and because I've seen a lot of people kind of on Twitter, what are you done with Becky Lynch?
No.
Are you feeling this gimmick that she's doing now? Are you the cocky, arrogant Becky Lynch now?
No. I think this is a natural extension. This is what I think, though. But this is something that I've said for a long time. I think there comes a point where, with any top wrestler, you just have to disappear for a couple of months. Just go away for a bit, let us miss you, then you come back, and we're excited to see you again. And I think this is where we're at with Becky. I like Becky Lynch. I really do. I don't know if WWE would be ready to do it because she's still arguably the face of the company. Like, there's still I'm open to discussing it because people could say, oh, it's Roman Reigns and so on. But I still think that there's I still think she's right up there for the media tours and so on and so forth. So I think that moving forward, I'm not sure WWE wants to take her off television, but I think it would do her a great deal of good to just go away for a couple of months, not a year. Just have her back in time for SummerSlam.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
And then instantly, boom, SummerSlam is exciting.
Yeah, you make a great point there, because I'm kind of one of the ones that are kind of stale with, like, I've kind of gotten
and I understand
Becky
why.
Lynch.
Yeah.
And I think if you did that, where maybe Shayna takes her out and keeps her out of the ring for a couple of months, and then all of a sudden, maybe a month before SummerSlam, she pops her head up and gets her rematch against Shayna Baszler, I think that would work perfectly. The crowd would go nuts.
Right now, here, I think Seth Rollins would benefit from taking some time off TV. I think Becky would as well. I think Baron Corbin would benefit from getting some time off television as well. Let us just breathe while you're not there. Because that is the thing. Every week we see these people. Every week. And they're always in the high profile matches. And yes, there is such a thing as fatigue when it comes to that. It's normal. And it's not a question of fans being fickle. That's the nature of the beast. It's just at some point you have to be able to mix things up just to keep things interesting. So I think, and Becky's worked a lot this year, with the media appearances, the matches, the house shows, the pay-per-views. We can talk about the quality of her opponents, the quality of her matches. That's a whole other discussion. You can't take away that she hasn't pulled up her sleeves and did what she had to do. As she deserves a couple of months off to rest her body, just get back into things too. I mean, it's good for them as well, but it's good for us as an audience to just be like,
yeah, Becky's worked her ass off since winning the championship. You can't deny that. As much as I've gone stale with her, she is a hard worker. She goes out there, does the media, she does the house show, she has matches. You can't complain on that. And I think you're absolutely right. Just have her and Seth go on a little bit of a little vacation together.
Hey, and they're in love.
Yeah.
Go take more selfies next to waterfalls and shit like that.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. And then have them come back in time for the big pay-per-view in SummerSlam. Like, I agree with you 100%. I think that would actually benefit them both, honestly. Even though I'm digging this Seth Rollins character. I love this Seth Rollins character.
Sure. But, I mean, you don't have to wait till they get stale before you give them a break either, And it forces them to build new stars then.
Thank you. And that's what we need. We need guys and gals featured more on Raw, more than they have. Because, look, as much as I don't really particularly care for this Women's Elimination Chamber match because it's so predictable, I'm glad they're giving women that we hardly ever see an opportunity to shine in this match. And I think Sarah Logan, she better take it, because she's been wrestling on Main Event for however long, and this could be big for her, because obviously they have their eyes set on Ruby and Liv. This could be really huge for Sarah Logan tomorrow night.
I mean, if I'm Sarah Logan, I'm like, I built a little Viking elimination chamber in my backyard, and I'm trying all sorts of shit out. I'm doing spots. I'm talking with Eric, and it's like, hey, what do you think about this? I'm trying stuff out. For real. I'm just like, all I'm doing is pondering over this match and poring over it. And it would be a benefit for everyone here if we can get Liv Morgan to live up to what WWE wants us to. Because, hey, we were talking about the marriage angle, right? Look how great it served her now.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't even see Lashley or Lana much anymore. It's more about Liv Morgan, and it helped her out tremendously. And I think, honestly, she's a beautiful lady. She can talk. Her wrestling needs work, of course. This is another huge night. The Riot Squad, or formerly known as the Riot Squad, could really shine tomorrow night. And I'm looking forward to it.
Here's the thing, too. For Liv, her wrestling needs work. I don't know, because I haven't really seen her wrestle.
True, that is true.
Outside of 2 minutes, a couple of spots in Enziguri, it's like, well, okay, you look fine. Like, I just don't know. I don't know what she's capable of. That's always been her case. She's a mystery as far as what she can do in the ring. So this is a time to shine. Let's make it happen. And let's be, we're talking about these three women here, and look at the three other women that they have in there. They have Natalya. Now, I know a lot of people are split on Natalya. I personally, I'm a Natalya guy. Has nothing to do with the fact that I'm Canadian. She's solid. She is super, super solid and can pull. She had a great match with Asuka a couple of weeks ago on Raw. Like a really, really solid match. Her match at SummerSlam against Becky Lynch. I think the only reason why people don't care about it is because they have a natural bias against Natalya, because it was a good match. I would argue it was outside of the Hell in a Cell with Sasha Banks. I think it's Becky's best match last year that she had. Actually, come to think of it, yeah, pretty much. Natalya knows how to work in a ring. She's a general. She knows how to make things happen.
That's exactly why she's in this match.
Asuka is the same thing. Asuka, maybe there's a language barrier there, perhaps, but otherwise, like, she can carry stuff here. Shayna Baszler has been doing this for years now as well. So you've got a great balance of really established veterans. And here's the thing, Ruby Riott, she was working the indies a long time before getting into NXT. Right. So exactly. We're under the impression that she's this newbie, but she's not. You've got really talented women. I'm just hoping that this match is produced in a way that will play to everyone's strengths to make everyone look good as we await Shayna Baszler to win.
Yeah, you want every woman to kind of have their moment in the match where you can say, oh, you remember when Logan did this, or remember when Liv did this in the match? You want that in that match. And look, Natalya, people have their gripes about her, but she's one of the best women's wrestlers the WWE has. And I don't understand the negativity that she gets. Maybe it's because she's been there for so long.
And she's bland. I mean, let's be honest. Like, I've had people tweet at me last night. It's like, well, what should people do with Carmella? She's so bland. Do you have her turn heel? Have her do something first and foremost. That's the thing. But Natalya, they try to do stuff with her, but she's always bland. She's just there. That's her thing. Is like she doesn't communicate well. She doesn't have that. There's something that doesn't connect. And they've tried, but you can't deny that she knows what she's doing in the ring.
Yeah, and I think that's why she's in this match, to kind of be that ring general, like you said, to kind of get things to go the right way. And she's going to sell and put on a good match, whoever she's wrestling against in that chamber match. I just, like you said, I just hope that they let the right women get the time and the spotlight that they need.
Yeah.
And that's all we can ask for, because obviously Shayna is going to go in there and wreak havoc and just destroy everyone.
How many people will she bite in this match? Over under.
I'm gonna go over under 2.
I think that's the safe bet. I'm gonna go for 3.
She's just gonna bite everyone that comes into the ring. She's
so many blood capsules. So we both have Shayna going over here, yes. But I mean that's a foregone conclusion. But sometimes, it's not like the Titanic. We know the Titanic sinks at the end. Sometimes it's the story to get to there that's interesting. So I'm not saying that this match is going to sink like the Titanic.
We just hope so. It just gotta go in with positive mind that this match is going to be good.
So there we have it. We went over the entire card. So overall, Tony, if we just talked through it. Good card, great card, bad card,
mediocre.
Yeah, I think there's going to be certain levels of disappointment here. And it's all going to be on WWE's fault.
Yeah, it's all Vince's. That's the one person that we can always blame is Vince.
Until we can't no more, then we'll find it. Then we'll find another.
Then we'll blame Triple H and Stephanie.
Exactly.
Go down the ladder.
We'll blame Kevin Dunn more.
Oh yeah.
There's another easy target right there.
Yeah, Kevin Dunn. Oh gosh.
Tony, I want to thank you very much for joining me today. This was a lot of fun. Per usual, I love chatting wrestling with you. Let the people know where they can find you and join in and all the Get the Tables fun.
Absolutely. We'll be live Saturday night tonight. We'll be going over SmackDown and NXT. Get you our predictions as well. Me and my co-host Dave talk about Elimination Chamber. If you're not tired of hearing about it already, we'll be going over that as well. Go over the rumors and news going around town. A certain Dave Meltzer giving a certain match, certain star level has been a big topic going around. We'll talk about that as well.
It was a great match, though. It was so good.
Man. It was a good match. I mean, it's hard to debate that. It was a really great match. And then tomorrow night, over on Twitch, we'll be doing the recap show of Chamber. So if you guys want to bitch or talk positive about Elimination Chamber, head over to twitch.tv/whatever. Just look for us on twitch.tv/, get the tables. It's
at
right
the
down
bottom,
there.
right there.
Thank you, Mr. Warren Hayes. Appreciate that.
There.
Follow us there. We'd really appreciate that. We appreciate anybody who's checking us out for the first time, and appreciate Mr. Warren Hayes for having us on here and getting maybe some more eyes on us that have never maybe checked us out before. So I really do appreciate that.
I'm thrilled you joined me again this morning, Tony. There was a great talk. I always like having you on. You guys should definitely check it out. It'll be a fun post show. I'm convinced tomorrow evening. The Get the Tables boys are
do our best.
Fantastic.
We'll do our best, and we always appreciate it. Thank you very much, Warren.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much for being here, and thank you everyone for listening, for watching. I hope you enjoy everything that has to do with Elimination Chamber weekend. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time.